Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
I know you mentioned it a little off the top here, just that the base running has improved so much with the additions from the off season here, and with the new pitch clock, pickoff attempt / bigger bases rules coming into play. I'm actually excited to kind of see how much this impacts base running in the game in general. Do you think that's an aspect of the game that's going to play into the way the Blue Jays approach this season? And on top of that, do you think that this will be the first year since 2017 we see somebody in MLB grab 50 bases?
I don't know. We'll see. I think base stealing is going to go up a lot. I don't know if I haven't even looked at who had the most steals in baseball last year. Do you have it in front of you?
I can pull it up.
I don't know who it was.
So
I know the number was 45, I think, or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know about the actual number of 50, but I think that, like, just thinking league wide, that base stealing is going to go up like a lot. I think that you saw that in the minors with the advent of the pitch clock. And so in MLB, you're not only going to have the pitch clock, but you're also going to have larger bases. So there's just like less distance between first and second, and between second and third, it's about 4.5 inches less distance. And with the disengagement rule with pitchers, so with runners on, you can only step off or throw over twice, and then you've got to get the, either if you throw over again, it's a balk if the base runner gets back. So I think that there's going to be a lot more base stealing this year. I think you're going to see a lot of base runners even just kind of like faking steals, taking aggressive leads, and like kind of doing those sort of taunt takeoffs, and then darting back, trying to get pitchers to use up their disengagements. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be that much of a difference for like your kind of proven base stealers, like your guys who could steal in 21, 22 baseball as well. I think it's just going to allow more guys who are kind of on that cusp to enter the conversation. So
more stolen bases for Kevin Biggio.
Sure. Yeah. I would even look at a guy like Matt Chapman. I would look at a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like, I think guys like that are going to steal a lot more this year.
All right, I got the list of stolen base leaders here just for the record. John Birdie with 41, Jorge Mateo 35, Cedric Mullins 34, Randy Arozarena with 32.
Yeah, so is John Birdie going to steal 9 more with these new rules? I don't know. I think he was stealing a lot even with the old rules, right? Like, I think there's going to be just more kind of guys like the floor, right? Like, I think there's going to be more 20 base stealers, just because there's going to be more guys who feel like they can get away with it.
That's a good point.
I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I know that it may not impact instantly, but whenever guys are getting, if we watch some guys who are swiping bags, getting paid more, you'll watch more players put attention and detail into stealing bases. Who knows, some of these young kids coming up, it could be cool to actually see guys who are like being drafted and brought in specifically to steal bases. We haven't seen that in forever.
I think you still got to hit. I think that's going to be the most important thing to get playing time in MLB. Like, Billy Hamilton would have a major league deal right now, right? If teams wanted to bring in guys just to steal bases, you can't steal first base, unfortunately, is the problem. So you still have to reach in order to utilize that tool. So I still do think that the hit tool is going to be the most important thing.
I like your idea though about the taunting leadoff, like just to try and draw a disengagement out of a pitcher, especially like with the pitch clock being a thing. Maybe he's running low on his pitch clock, he disengages to avoid that penalty. Boom, there's already one. Maybe not for the second time. Vladdy's getting a little bit more aggressive with the lead just to try and draw that second one out. Who knows? I like that idea.
Kevin Kiermaier is going to be a classic guy with this. Yeah. Kevin Kiermaier is going to do that all day long. I promise you, when he's on first base, like the OBP isn't that high with him, so he's got to get to first. But when he's there, he's going to be trying to get in the pitcher's mind at all times. Like, I bet you Whit Merrifield's going to do stuff like that. Dalton Varsho is going to be a guy who's doing stuff like that. Like, there is such huge pressure on catchers in 2023 baseball to kind of keep a handle on that, be throwing back picks a lot. a lot of back picks to first base just to keep runners close. Like a lot of times you throw a back pick, you're not actually trying to get the guy out. You're just trying to keep him close. You're just trying to cut down that lead and not let him like get that huge secondary so that on a ball in the dirt, it's easier to get to second or to third. So I think the back picks are going to be huge. The other thing with the back pick is it actually delays the amount of time before the pitch timer begins. Pitch clock doesn't start until the ball's in the pitcher's glove. So you throw a back pick and then say the first baseman throws the ball back to the catcher. It's like another, 2-3 seconds that the pitcher gets to recover in between pitches, which like doesn't sound like the biggest thing, but for some guys that could be meaningful. So I think the catchers, like stuff like that, stuff with catchers with like getting the
stealing seconds. Quickly. I love that. Just like taking time where you can.
I think you're going to see it, right? I think teams are going to try to strategize all kinds of different ways to kind of get the most and take advantage of the loopholes in these rules. But I think for catchers, like it's, we think about it, like automated balls and strikes are coming, or robo umps as people call them. Like that's going to happen in MLB at some point, and that's going to like lessen responsibility for catchers when it comes to framing. But I think there is so much more responsibility for catchers right now in terms of game calling, in terms of being on the same page as your pitchers. Like Chris Bassett's a guy who shakes off all the time because he's got like 6-7 pitches depending on the night. You got to be on the same page. You can't have him out there like shaking off, and all of a sudden his 15 seconds in between pitches are gone, and now all of a sudden now you're giving away balls, right? Like you've got to be on the same page, getting that sign in quickly, set up, ready to receive earlier, and while also keeping in mind when there's runners on, like the increased aggressiveness that you're going to see on the base pass that we've been seeing. So I think there's a lot of responsibilities for catchers in 2023.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.